just drop it here, and then we just start at the spin coater. You can see the finally we can make a very thin layer of film by using, this is the spin coater. This is the perovskite material, like little bit Chinese color. So that's why the perovskite material, the good thing is we can make the very thin layer, thin film, even less than 1 micrometer the thickness. So another thing is the organic solar cell. As I mentioned, two type of organic solar cell. One is the organic thin film solar cells, another one is perovskite solar cell. The organic solar cell already developed with the roll to roll, like you can see, like now actually researcher can fabricate the roll to roll type of organic solar cells. It's not the perovskite. So if you look here, the history of the performance improvement, the silicon solar cell started in 1975. But organic solar cells, it started 2000. But perovskite actually, this is the same time I started my PhD journey in 2013. You can see the silicon solar cells and perovskite solar cells more or less the efficiency more or less the same. There are some applications for the organic thin film solar cells. And like now we are like trying to apply our organic type of solar cells in this application. So for example, like the wall, so these are the greenhouse. And then we can go up to 1200, up to 1200 actual wavelength of like we can absorb the light. So another important thing is the perovskite, actually the absorption coefficient that is over 10 times higher than the silicon. So that's why the silicon is several micrometer, but perovskite we can have the like less than 1 nanometer. We can consider the thickness. It means the less than 1 nanometer, less than 1 micrometer actually, that can give the sufficient absorb the light. So here you can see these are the organic. While you combine the organic and inorganic, and then make the solution, just go for a spin coat, we can make the thin film. In addition, we can have the vacuum deposition system. I mean we can apply the heat for the organic and inorganic material, and then finally we can make the very thin film, and then finally we can fabricate the device. So here is the mechanism for how the solar cell, perovskite solar cell work. While light hit to the perovskite material, the make the exciter positive and negative, and then this positive goes through the positive electrode, and this negative goes through the negative electrode, and thereby generating the electric current. That is the basic concept for the solar cells. And these are the two type of structure. You can see the perovskite actually divides layer by layer. I mean, these are the electron transport layer. I mean, we can extract the electron and block the hole, and then we have the absorber material, the perovskite, and then these are the hole transport material. It means that can extract the hole and block the electron. Then finally, this is the gold electrode, and then we can connect. This is the device structure. Sorry, interruption. Sorry. As I mentioned earlier, the perovskite. You can see that if you talk about the efficiency, I mean the proportion efficiency, more or less the similar. But if you look, the stability is only several hours, but more than 30 years. So that's why the main part is we need to improve the stability. How we can improve the stability? So that's why we need the device engineering. So once, say for example, there is some degradation sources, how the perovskite degrade. Actually, the perovskite that can be degraded with the thermal, that can be degraded also the UV light with the moisture, I mean the water. So once we develop the perovskite, so actually the future is for that we can think about the perovskite electronic devices. There are several types of LED, transistor, LCD, sensor, laser. This is a wide range of application we can apply. So that's why we need to develop at least the perovskite material, then we can think about for the wide range of electronic devices. So here, from here, you can see how the perovskite degrades. This is the perovskite material that have the organic part. Usually, while it's come to the contact with the moisture, that is including the water, it immediately break down the A cation, A site. And then you can see within several minutes changes the color. It means the crystal structure, this was completely the breakdown. So it means the A site is completely breakdown. So that's why here you can see how it comes. Usually the perovskite have the many grain boundary. It means the perovskite is polycrystalline. It's not the single crystalline. The polycrystalline, one grain to another grain, there is actually easily this edge, easily water molecule can easily penetrate, and then finally it's degraded. So that's why if we want to improve the stability, we need to substitute with organic with the inorganic. Then there is the higher possibility to further improve the stability. So for example, the current challenges for the perovskite type of solar cell is lack of the morphology. Another one is we need to lack of the efficient interfacial engineering. So why we need the interfacial engineering? Because the perovskite. In the first part of my presentation, I will briefly talk about the benefit of the ionic liquid for the fabrication of high stable perovskite solar cells. So I started actually this ionic liquid this research in 2014, and for the first time, okay, next slide, and we considered the ionic liquid as an additives. I mean the very small amount of ionic liquid we just added in perovskite precursor solution that can give to improve the hydrophobicity. I mean, while you can make more hydrophobic layer, it means the water molecule easily cannot be penetrated. It means those ionic liquid can make you as a barrier layer will save the main perovskite material. So with that concept, for the first time, I added very small amount of ionic liquid in perovskite precursor solution that we can consider as an additive. This type of ionic liquid, some people after actually next slide I will go, and they consider the interfacial engineering, charge transport, and many things. So good thing is while you added the ionic liquid, we can control the crystal. I mean we can control the crystal growth, nucleation and growth. That is very much important. And we can finally improve the stability. What I did this here, I got during my doctoral study in 2014, for the first time in the world actually, I added the ionic liquid in perovskite precursor solution. Here you can see, I just added a very small amount, 1% of ionic liquid, that is less than 1 drop. And just added the ionic liquid in perovskite precursor solution. Then I go for the just spin coat. I observed we can make it very spherical type of nanoparticle. That was actually the first report in perovskite solar cell research. And then I got the patent. This is my actually doctoral research, PhD research actually. Then I got the patent for this. This was it was bad experience with my supervisor. Honestly speaking, like that. This is my concept. You know, while as a student you want to prove your concept with the big professor, really it's not easy task. It was really very bad experience in my life. Because at that time I just, in 2013, so while we considered the DMF as a solvent, so while DMF was dissolved with the PbI2 and MAI, I mean methyl ammonium iodide, while in spin coat, during spin coat, like DMF is like boiling, is very fast. It can evaporate very fast. So that's why it was very difficult to control. So that's why the rapid evaporation, that's result to have the ribbon-like shape. It cannot make any type of, like, it can give you the, you can see the lots of white and it will look like the ribbon-like shape. Sorry. But in my system, while I consider the ionic liquid as an additive, in DMF solution, I drop it. Those ionic liquid is more hydrophobic. That can retard the evaporation of the solvent. It means it's completely, solvent can evaporate, but in my system, the solvent cannot completely evaporate. Still there is some complex with the, like DMF with the ionic liquid. So that's give the slow nucleation. While the nucleation is fast, that can be very difficult to control the crystal growth. But while the nucleation is slow, it means like in this case, because while we apply the heat, its growth started. Finally, we got the very spherical type of nanoparticle. Sorry about that. During my doctoral study, actually I couldn't improve the power conversion efficiency. The reason was I considered the perovskite as an absorber material. But my perovskite material is like nanoparticle. Is one nanoparticle to another particle, there is some space. While you consider the solar cells, it should be more compact. It means while these are the whole transporter, while you speak out from here, those solvent can be penetrated through and breakdown comes to the FTO. It can give you the short circuit. So finally, I could only improve the 10% power conversion efficiency. That was really not sufficient. At that time, during my doctorate, I had the lack of thinking, and I couldn't get any suggestion from anyone. But that was my limitation during my doctorate. I couldn't improve the efficiency. But while I joined as an assistant professor in 2018, I considered this is the new concept. I used this nanoparticle as a seeded growth concept to further improve the stability. What I did here, this one I developed up to this doctoral study I developed up to this. This one can give only 10% power conversion efficiency. Then I considered this nanoparticle just as deposited film. It's still wet. It's not the dry. I didn't apply the heat. This is the like during the cluster, just to make the cluster, it means the bottom side is just make the one layer that we considered as a seeded growth. And then what I did here, again, the triple cation CSFA-MA based the perovskite as drop precursor solution on this wet deposited film. Please, still I didn't get the, see? I didn't make the nanoparticle. I didn't apply the heat because it's still this stress. I consider up to this stress. And then you can see this stress, this very small, because while I spoke of, this nanoparticle was less because somewhere go away. There are very small, some nanoparticle are there that retard the nucleation. It means the primary nucleation that was dominated completely by the MAPBI3 nanoparticle. And then these are the nanoparticles, these are the perovskite crystal that was embedded inside the perovskite. And finally, I succeed to make the very dense with large grain size of perovskite. You can see that there is still the ionic liquid. These have the more hydrophobic character. So that can give the more high stable perovskite type of solar cell. What I did here, you can see, this is the nanoparticle. But this is the pristine. I mean, the no ionic liquid were there, or no nanoparticle was there. But when you combine these two, you can see the large grain size was input. It means while you think about the photovoltaic grain morphology and crystallinity are correlated with the photovoltaic property. It means if you have the large grain, if you have the high crystallinity, you must get the high stable perovskite solar cells, I mean the high efficient perovskite solar cells. With those concepts, you can see this is some histogram. We can fabricate the more than 1 micrometer size the grain of perovskite. And these are the cross section. So here you can see the while we embedded the nanoparticle with the pristine perovskite, you can see the more dense, more than around 700 nanometer the thickness. And these are the pristine one. I mean the no as usual one. This is the reference one. sorry. I'm extremely sorry. আমার একটু হুটহুটি কাশিতে কিছু মনে করি না। না সমস্যা না, আমি চাচ্ছি যে সত্য কথা একটু আসছি একটু সবাইকে একটু আপনাদের যদি এটা দেখে যদি কেউ একটু ইনফ্লুয়েন্স হয় ওই জায়গায় আমার সার্থকতা অ্যাকচুয়ালি। Then finally I read it ACS applied materials and interface, and this one I improved the over 20% power conversion efficiency. That was the device structure. So those are the MAPBI3 nanoparticle with the perovskite crystal. This is the device structure. And then that was the IV, the character that can give you the performance, the overall performance over 20%. Important thing was there here. While you added the ionic liquid nanoparticle with the triple-based perovskite, you can see our device retained over 6,000 hours. It means over 8 months. What we did after fabricating our device, I just left our solar cells in ambient condition. There is no encapsulation. Just put it in dark condition. So you can see that this one is as usual, the reference immediately degrade within few hours. It means, and this is my concept. Actually, while ionic liquid was there, you can see we measured the water contact angle measurement. You can see the water contact angle means hydrophobicity was improved. It means while you have the more hydrophobic material, I mean the semiconductor material, it means the water molecule actually cannot be easily penetrate to break down your perovskite. So that's why we have the more high stable the device. So then actually it's not the easy task. In Bangladesh, actually you can give some money to any reporter, they can report it, but in Japan it's completely opposite. And for this, I had twice interview. While they convince, they start difficult for me to prove in that point of view. Then I started the collaboration with director Professor Fukuma actually, and also the assistant Professor Aihan. They are in Japan, there are 10 laboratories that is for the world, very high complicated device there, and they can somehow can give the information in molecular level. So this is my concept was like this, the origin of degradation. Then I collaborated with them, and still this paper was not published yet. And then there is a grain, one grain to grain, usually water molecule enter with the grain boundary. Then moisture easily infiltrate in the grain boundary, then finally it's degrade. And this is the high resolution atomic force microscope, because it was not really the not as usual atomic force microscope. So there you can see, this is like my drawing, like the one grain to another grain, there is a still nanoparticle there. You can see, if you look very closely, you can see that this is the grain. Actually, the grain to grain, there is a nanoparticle was left there. So that's result to improve the hydrophobicity. This can prove, this one is the high resolution atomic force microscope that can give like we couldn't see from our eyes actually why our stability was improved. Then you can see the another one. This is more like Kelvin probe that we call the more complicated characterization. This can give you can see in the grain boundary area there was an ionic liquid added MAPBI3 nanoparticle was left. That result to improve the hydrophobicity. Then finally, overall we improve the overall stability of our devices. So this is like this we call the Kelvin probe force microscope. And this you can see this is the grain and this is the grain boundary area. These are the grain boundary area. This our nanoparticle was left in the grain boundary area. That's why because the nanoparticle is not inside the crystal. So that's why we measure the crystallinity. The crystallinity was not changed because the MAPBI3 was not inside the like the perovskite crystal. In the second part of my presentation, I will briefly talk about we use the some intercalation technology, how to improve the overall stability. So this is we considered, as I mentioned earlier, we substitute the organic with the inorganic. I mean we have the organic material, we added some inorganic material into perovskite, the material, and then it means we increase the some inorganic, more inorganic type of the perovskite. This is the organic methyl ammonium lead iodide, while some people have added a very small amount of cesium inorganic material into MAPBI3 film. You can see they can improve the stability. We took this concept, they considered these are the all our solution process. I mean they make the solution MAPBI3 with the cesium, just dissolve in the DMF and DMSO in solvent, and then they fabricate the device. And then finally they showed that they have very small amount cesium that can improve the stability. So another thing is, while one changes the halogen, I mean the iodine, chlorine, bromine, we can tune the grain size of perovskite. And finally, that also improve the stability. Considering both two concepts, one is the aquation, another one is changes the halogen. We started the collaboration. Another professor, actually, he is expert on the molecular level simulation. We observed that you can see why do you consider cesium inorganic based type of perovskite, like in the cesium lead iodide, and then we changes the iodine to bromine. We observe another thing. This is the cesium lead iodide. It can easily phase transfer because of the water molecule. It cannot be degraded, but it can phase transfer. But when you consider the bromine based, you can see there is no degradation. Even we put it in 72 years in ambient condition, no degradation, no color changes. But problem this type of perovskite is band gap is very high, over 2.3 electrovolt. But in case of the cesium lead iodide is 1.73 electrovolt, is lower, but higher up, the larger the band gap, that is not efficient. Honestly speaking, if we talk about the efficiency, it's not efficient. But in case of stability, it's efficient. sorry, later I will go in details. Here you can see they measure actually the delays, the enthalpy. They observed that while we consider substituting iodine with the bromine that have the smaller ionic radius that could result in more stable the perovskite. So that's why it is necessary to replace with iodine with the bromine. That is give the concept from the Professor Ishii. Then what we did here you can see, we just cesium chloride, cesium bromide, cesium iodide. We got the concept from here, but we applied. You can see the cesium halide, I mean the cesium chloride, cesium bromide, cesium iodide. We just dissolve in DMF and then make the spin coat. But problem is for the inorganic material is solubility is quite low. So that's why it is very difficult to control the elemental composition. That is the major disadvantage for the inorganic type of material. So that's why what we did, we don't go through with the solution process. Here you can see, we have the facility for the vacuum deposition, like thermal vacuum deposition. We have the material, we just apply the heat and make the very thin layer. My concept was, okay, so inorganic material, the solution is like low solubility, it's very difficult to dissolve. Okay, we will not go through that way. Okay, we will apply the thermal, make the thin film. We succeeded. You can see that here. The vapor, solution, vapor. We just encapsulate the organic part. This is the organic. We just encapsulate with the two layer with the inorganic material. So look like this. This is the organic, but encapsulate with the inorganic. See here. Here you can see this is the crystalline MaPbI3. When we encapsulate, you can see that we can, in all three cases, the grain size was, we tune the grain sizes in all cases. It means we succeed to have the large grain of perovskite. And here you can see the all three cases, the cross section you can see. These all three halide cases, we can get the very dense perovskite film. And then we did the elemental, EDX, that can give you the the distribution of the cesium iodide, cesium chloride, cesium bromide. We could understand where it is. Actually, we encapsulate, as I said earlier, this is the perovskite, but we use the two type of very thin layer, only 5 nanometer of cesium iodide, 5 nanometer of cesium iodide. We just interconnect. It means we want to insert, actually, inside, penetrate through the MaPbI3. Then the question is, actually this cesium iodide can give the entire perovskite layer or not. Then we did EDX measurement. We can see our perovskite, these are like cesium. If you look about the cesium, you see the precisely mix with the MaPbI3. Then you can see the XRD. In all three cases, the crystallinity was improved. The reason is, if you look about the primary, sorry. So these are the belongs to the PbI2. While your perovskite is decayed, you could see the PbI2 peak. It means the lead iodide, there is a peak will be appear. But here you can see, while we added the cesium iodide, chlorine and bromine, in all three cases, the peak of PbI2 is slightly reduced. It means, and then we can make the perfect perovskite in all three cases. And also, if you look about the full width half maximum, that can give you the crystallinity, actually, the information. The lower full width half maximum, it means you have the higher crystallinity. In all three cases, the crystallinity was improved. And also, if you look the graph law, that can give also the FWS information. And then we did the photoluminescence, and we did the absorbance and finally calculate the top load by using in all three cases. You can see while you calculate the device, all three cases there is a parameter for the fill factor. All three cases fill factor was rapidly improved. It means our cesium halide intercalation was perfectly mixed with the absorber layer. And then we measure the impedance, and that can give you how it affect your device with the trap. I mean the recombination. Then you can see that in all three cases, while you consider the cesium halide, all three cases was reduce the trap. Reduce the recombination. As I mentioned earlier, the interfacial engineer will successfully succeed to reduce the recombination as well as the trap, and then finally we succeed to the perfect interfacial engineering. And then we also measure the electron-only device that can give you the space charge limited current. Actually, if we calculate, then that can give you the condition. Then we calculate with this, and in three cases you can see the perfectly trap. The recombination was reduced. So this is only impedance is not sufficient. Actually, if we do the space charge limited current, that can give you the more detailed information related on the trap. So we consider the only electron-only device, and there was no hole. The FTO, TiO2, and the perovskite and PCBM, and then the board. So then, we fabricate the device, and you can see while we embedded, while you included very small, very low thickness of the inorganic material into organic, the stability was very high, no degradation over 12 hours. It means these are for solar cells. Why we consider the 85 degree C? The reason is actually the solar cells, while you set out in the outside, say for example, go for the desert area, their temperature and here temperature is completely different. But if you think about the international, the standard way, the solar cells should be retained with high temperature, with high humidity. It means your solar cells should be retained 85% humidity with 85 degree temperature. If you can meet those conditions, then you can set up your solar cell in outside. So that's why individually we applied the 85 degree C after having the device. You can see 12 hours there was no degradation. And then we measure the light soaking stability. What does it mean, the light soaking stability? Light soaking stability is we have the device, we continuous light radiate on the device, and then we want to see how it degrades by time. And this is the moisture stability in all three cases. While you combine with organic and inorganic, you can see our device retained more stable. And then the question is, why these devices stability was high? Then we measure the water contact angle. We have the perovskite, we just drop the water on the perovskite, and then we measure it. The contact angle, it means you can see while we added the cesium halide, including iodine, chlorine, bromine, all three cases, the hydrophobicity, the contact angle was improved. It means the hydrophobicity was improved. That helped to improve the stability. This is my recent development on the perovskite module. So there is as I mentioned, as I showed in earlier, the spin coat. Spin coat that can cover the very small device. You cannot make the module with this spin coat. So spin coat is very easy and cost effective. But if you think about the large scale module, the spin coat was not efficient. So then we developed the bar coating technique. It means You put the substrate here, this is the substrate, and drop the solution and just coat and make the large scale module. And this is, we just entered actually the stage of considering the manufacturing method with the company that I mentioned earlier, the RECO. So we fabricate the solar module, and then I patented this. And recent, you could see 23232424. And in the last year, I patented 2. These all of my corresponding, past and corresponding. This is my responsibility. I was the main on this all patent on the perovskite. So I handed over this patent to the company, actually, to make the joint venture laboratory. We recently actually started. And then this patent will be the key technology for our venture laboratory. And this is my doctoral study. During my doctoral study, I did the one patent. But unfortunately, at that time, maybe I was not sufficient to rethink. That's why I couldn't, make the more patent. But now I could say that now maybe little bit the thinking was changed. I could see now. I could really rethink. Then finally it happened. So we made a very small venture laboratory in our laboratory, inside our laboratory, and that you can see here. There are 2 glove boxes. This is the inside. We make the very small laboratory, the venture laboratory that we can fabricate here. This is our Karachi University. This is the company. We just handed over our seed technology to the company to make the large scale mini module. So that's why I was lucky enough actually building a mini prototype factory that we called NST. Though I am a foreigner, the venture factory that we called the NST means he is also the recently promoted to associate professor, and Swan means me, NST, Nakano, Soel, and Taimo. We 3 like the proposed, and we handed over our seed technology to Mithani Sangyo company. That is very big company. Maybe Samuel Bhai jante pare company, and then they will invest a very big amount of money on our project. But I was lucky enough actually, like this one we fabricate by ourselves, and also we. So here into the layer between this perovskite with HTL, I mean the whole transport layer, and perovskite with ETL layer. Sorry, I took a little bit long time. Sorry for that. আমি explain করব আমার personal life actually I want to share actually like experience sharing on the publication in high impact journal, how it impact my career. So after having the twice postdoc in Japan, actually in my university here I did my PhD. You can see they are asking for the young, efficient assistant professor, and I applied there. Actually, their requirement was very not easy task. It's a fresh PhD and with the doctor postdoc. You can see 10 major papers. There was a requirement. If we cannot meet this requirement, you cannot apply. So it was very challenging task at that time. I had just 10 first author paper at that time. But I was lucky enough, their requirement was the 10 major paper. So that's why the publication, honestly speaking, publication is important. Publication with quality. I don't think the quantity is not matter. Quantity doesn't, but quality. তখন আমার just 10টা publication ছিল first author as a first and corresponding authorization. Then I applied for. Then I got it. They selected me. as a fixed term assistant professor, not actually assistant professor. Though they call the assistant professor, but it's not the assistant professor, honestly speaking, because it's fixed term. So that's why I put the one slide about here, the quality versus the quantity. What do you think actually